Hey, it's Alex Gervaisi here with KIIS FM, and I am here with next up artist Lauv.
What's up? What's up?
We're talking about really good sandwiches. So we're going to tie this back into LA because you went to school in Philly. You went to Villanova, right?
No, I grew up around there. I'm like a really complicated. It's
let's
confusing.
talk about. Yeah, okay. So you're from the Bay Area.
Born in San Francisco, lived in Georgia, Pennsylvania, moved to New York for school.
Damn.
Yeah, so I went to school in New York.
Okay.
And then I moved here.
Okay.
So
but you were in Philly for a little bit.
7 years.
If you ever want like a good cheesesteak here in LA, Philly's best, right up the road in Burbank.
Really?
They
Okay,
ship they ship all the rolls in from Philly.
Wait, really?
Amoroso rolls.
No way.
And they're all like from Philly. They have tasty cakes. They have birch beer.
Tasty cakes.
Yes.
Childhood.
Right. So listen, I know. Listen, you're never gonna. It's like you're never gonna get a good taco in or any good Mexican food in the Northeast.
Yeah,
In my opinion, like I didn't experience good Mexican food until I moved to LA.
Okay, but what's your favorite spot here? Because I still haven't found it.
Oh, that's hard.
For tacos.
I think just
This
Mexican.
is a food show, by the way.
So this just turned into that, which I'm totally fine with because I love both music and food. So I want to say, off the top of my head, my favorite Mexican spot, like restaurant in general, is Don Cuco's.
Haven't been there.
There's one in Burbank and Toluca Lake.
Okay.
And also, those margaritas are so strong.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Frozen or on the rocks?
On the rocks. Why?
We were like, it was
So
going
you like
so
frozen?
well.
You get brain freeze though.
Exactly. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, comment
they're just
below.
good.
Do you prefer on the rocks or frozen? Just kidding.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you have to go there, and also JoJo. I don't even think he's here anymore, but he is there literally 4 times a week, like before his show. So if you go to Don Cuco's, either one between I think the hours of like 3 and 4, he'll be down there. So yeah, we have to do that. Okay, so now this just turned into a food show.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about music. You know, we got into a little bit about you growing up, or you born in the Bay Area, you moved all around the country. I didn't move around really until later on in life, and it was like I went to school in Kentucky. I'm from New Jersey. Went to school in Kentucky for my career.
Cool.
Went Virginia, Austin here, and I always feel like people who've moved around the country more like you kind of break out of these bubbles too,
For
and
sure.
it really like broadens. I think like your worldview, everything. Like, do you acknowledge that like about yourself, even though you moved at a young age?
It's definitely, I have to say, influenced my music a lot.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like what I grew up listening to, it was always different, you know, everywhere I was.
Yeah.
And then also like, just like, I think like to me, like the meaning of like identity and stuff like that is different. Cause I think a lot of people, you know, like when you can live in one place, that can become a big part of your identity, you know, like the pride of the sports teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I never really had that. So when I moved to New York, finally, it was kind of like, oh, like kind of everybody here is like that. I mean, there's obviously tons of actual New Yorkers as well, but there's people from all over the world who are just trying to like define themselves and like do what they're dreaming of. And that was really cool.
Now, do you still live in New York, or are you in LA? Go back and
Sold
forth?
my soul, moved to LA.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did?
Yeah.
You moved to LA? Okay, so I got to ask. I'm not going to ask you which one you prefer, but what are the biggest differences between LA and New York for you?
Definitely the not being able to walk here really in the same way.
Yeah.
And it might just be where I live, but I feel I mean, definitely the community vibe is different here
Like
than
good
it
or
is
bad?
there. I was living in like the East Village where you could walk around and there's just so much culture kind of everywhere everywhere you look. So here I'm in like Studio City, so it's just a little different.
Yeah.
Traffic. Well, I guess there's traffic in both
Yeah,
places,
but it's different. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like especially because you can walk and there's other options. Like, you don't have to sit in your car
yeah.
in New York. But
Better. I will say I think better sushi here. Better sushi here. Yeah.
Sugarfish.
Sugarfish and Sushi Park.
Where's this?
Sushi Park.
Again, this just really turned into
This is
like
some-
a Yelp
this is like
review
some
of next up.
crazy.
Where is it?
I think it's like West Hollywood. It's like in a strip mall.
Okay.
It doesn't look like a nice sushi place at all, but they have a sign. It's like no California rolls, no spicy, like none of that. It's all chef's choice, and they'll tell you specifically you can't use soy sauce on this piece.
Okay, Sugarfish is a lot like that too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
Yeah.
now try this place,
Yeah.
which I love how you said, you know, it's, where is it? You said it's in the middle of a strip mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super unassuming.
We just had this conversation, and I feel like it just kind of ties into every part of our lives, that I feel like millennials, and especially this next generation, like we're all like looking for the Instagrammable spots,
Yeah.
and like,
It's very
is it a
true.
cool vibe?
And just and just moments. I feel like everybody's like is trying to live a life for social media, you know?
Yeah.
Like what can I do that would be good content for the world? Which
And
is funny.
everything is so fast.
Yeah.
Like whether it's just like, I don't know, like I feel like there's so many coffee shops that aren't necessarily great coffee or great restaurants, but like they have like a cool Instagrammable moment.
brand.
So it's, a good brand. Do you feel like even as like an artist and putting out music, because I feel like we're just constantly getting information at all times, like where it's just like, okay, this. How do you think that shifted you as even an artist, like in the music industry?
Well, you know, it's made me think a lot about like what do I truly stand for and what do I believe, and like I want to get a tattoo of the word why, because why is like one of the most important words to me. It's like always to remember why you do what you do. And like, you know, I think people connect to why you do something, not what you do, you know. It's like so it's I mean I think it's really cool, you know. I do feel like artists have to be brands. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. But I think though, like you said, it kind of makes you like a little bit more self-aware as to like, okay, well, what do I really stand for?
Yeah.
Like what do I want to you know, who am I?
Yeah.
I love your music videos, I gotta say. I Like Me Better kind of made me cry. It's totally fine. Whatever.
I definitely didn't cry on set.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
That old couple though.
Oh, so sweet. And I just thought the story was so sweet. I do love though that I feel like you're correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like your music videos are trying to tell an overarching story.
So I mean, it's kind of all of the songs that I've put out are all part of this thing called I Met You When I Was 18 that I have as like a playlist online, and it's basically like my first project, but kind of a story that I'm telling as I'm piecing it together. So there's more songs coming that are going to fill in different chapters of it. So all the songs are literally just about my life, you know, moving to New York, being 18, trying to be like, okay, who am I trying to be? Like, I don't know, like, let me figure this out. And then falling in love for the first time, which is like, when you don't expect it, it's crazy, and totally changes you, I think, for the better. Just like all of that together.
So where did the name I Met You When I Was 18, like, who is you? Is that like, I don't know, it was so deep.
No, I mean, it was, you know, like the girl I fell in love with when I moved to New York, but and also in a sense like myself as well. Like I feel like I didn't really, because, you know, when moving around so much as a kid, I would always move to small towns where I think a lot of the people were from the town and already knew each other, and all the kids and all their families all kind of were already friends. And then I came there and I was like, oh, here's this new dude from Georgia, or, you know, whatever. And I always kind of felt, you know, like somewhat of an outsider in that sense. When I moved to New York, it was like, oh, like people define themselves by like who they're trying to be, like what are their dreams, what do they believe, you know?
It's one of the things that I also too like love about LA and also New York. I feel like, I mean, you talk to someone from LA and they're like, oh, like you guys made traffic so bad here, which I'm like, I get it. Yeah. But like one of the things I do love about LA is there are people from so many different walks of life. Yeah. You have people who are from here. Yeah. And like everyone just like looks different. You have different backgrounds, different cultural identities. But I always think that just makes you so much stronger. And what I've always appreciated about LA after living here for 4 years is how I went from, I mean, growing up in not a hugely diverse community and maybe being in a bubble, and you get to have so many amazing conversations a day that really can be like open your eyes or whatever it might be. Yeah. And I just like, I can't imagine what it'd be like for you, you know, when, like you said, you're moving to small towns where you're like, oh, everyone's like established here. Yeah. You know, I'm the outsider to going to a place where it's like, oh, I think everyone is pretty much an outsider here. Yeah.
But, you know, the funny thing about both, I think, New York and LA is if you think about it, there are probably some of the most potential for interesting conversations at all times, because there's so many interesting people from everywhere, yet everybody is so busy and so focused on their own lives and making their own dreams happen that you can kind of forget that, and you can just become totally isolated, and you're like literally one human connection away from being like, oh yeah, like real life.
Yeah. And that's why it's like put down the phone or whatever it might be, or just like go out. Like I think even with you or people who are so focused on their work, it's like you do have to remind yourself that to do that and to just kind of like, I mean, at the end of the day, you need experiences to write your music as well. So it probably wouldn't be good. It would, I'm gonna be honest with you, it might be a boring song if you just like wrote about like being in the studio all day. Yeah. No one wants to hear that. No. Don't think you want to write that either.
I don't want to write that. Yeah,
no. So tell me a little bit about the music. Like you said, I know the playlist, which I think is such an awesome concept and something that I don't think I've seen really done before. I always like, when I'm listening to music, obviously I like to connect with it, but I also like to be like, okay, where was this person's mindset? Is this something that they wrote about themselves? Was it for someone else? And it sounds like all the music's pretty personal.
Definitely, very personal.
Is that like nerve-wracking?
Not really. It is like, as corny as it sounds, it's like therapeutic for me. It's like I can be a very like heady person, and I am a very heady person, and like try to control a lot of things. And writing this music has been like my process of saying, okay, like I'm gonna let it out and share it with the world, because that's just much more freeing to do that than to hold on to it. So,
well, I love music. I'm really excited to see more music videos too, and kind of see the story continue. I know you're going to be at the Troubadour, correct?
2 sold-out nights.
That's really, really dope.
It's crazy.
So you're going on tour. Like, you started your tour a couple days ago, right?
In Seattle.
So tell me a little bit about the tour. Tell me, like, is it going to be a long one, or what can we expect going to the show?
So, I mean, the tour is also called I Met You When I Was 18, and it's basically, I'm trying to bring that story feeling to stage. So it's like chronological, and which has been, a really fun experience. It's, the biggest shows I've ever played. It's a lot of music, going all over the world. I get to go to some places I've never been, like
so cool.
Japan and like Australia, and there's a lot of places I've never played, even in the States too.
Because you were opening for Ed Sheeran, but then got in a bike accident.
So
kind of put the kibosh on some things for a little bit. Also, when you say bike accident, what happened? If you don't mind me asking, was it like a bike, like you pedaled, a motorcycle? Like, what happened?
I don't really know exactly what had happened to him, but basically, like half the shows got canceled.
Wait, I thought you got in a bike accident.
Oh, no.
Okay, you're right.
This
it wasn't.
Ed.
Because he broke both of his arms.
Yeah, this is Ed.
Okay, well, now I feel really stupid.
But maybe I might have one today, unless I knock on wood.
No, please don't do that. I love how I was reading it, and I must have just read it wrong, because I was like, wow, they both got in bike accidents. That's really crazy. I don't know.
We actually collided. That was the first time we met. We collided.
A tandem bicycle together, like going down the street. Wow, that's so unfortunate. Yeah. Okay, well then, but that still sucks for you, because you're like, man, we're going to see so many things. And
I was just like, I'm about to go on tour with Ed Sheeran in Asia, in arenas. Like there's really very few feelings better than getting that kind of news, know? And then I woke up one day and I saw the news about, maybe the whole tour will be canceled or something. And I was like,
the man plays
like,
of course
this would happen.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Now you're doing a huge tour for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're going to see all these places.
We still got to do half those dates, which was awesome. Got to go to like Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines. Got to go to a lot of places, Singapore, a ton of places.
I'm really excited for you. Like I said, I love the music, and I think it's really, really cool to see where your career is progressing, where it's going, and it's really nice to talk to you today. So thanks for coming in.
as well.
Do you want to tell anything else to our listeners?
I just want to say, watch out for my pasta sauce line coming in 2019.
Wow. Okay, well, I would like to have a jar.
It's going to take a long time. It's going to be perfected.
Because you're talking to a Jersey Italian, so I would like to approve it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be in on that. All right. Thanks, guys.